Welcome to the 8 in the Box podcast. It is Wednesday, October 13th. I can't believe it. We're almost halfway through the college football season, and this is the podcast where we talk college football every single week. I am Dave Sharapan, the Sportsbook Consigliere at SportsBK Consig on Twitter. And with me, as always, my quarterback, my guy, Brad Howe, at Brad Howe07. B Howe, what's up, man? How are you?
We're well, buddy. We're well, and you're right. We are racing right through college football season, almost at the midpoint right now. Let's go. Now, here's where it starts to get fun. Now we're starting to get some analytics in. The data means a little bit more because you've got strength of schedules that are starting to balance. So from here on out, this gets a lot of fun now.
Oh, without a doubt. It's fun. And, I mean, it's October. So we got all this stuff happening. I'm coming off a day game after a night game with the baseball. I was out in L.A. just last night, Dodgers and Giants. So I'm trying to recover. But in lieu of that, we have Dan Alexander, who we call Newbie. He's known as Newbie in our world, at Newbie Talks, producing the show. I'm throwing it to you, sir. We got games to talk about. We're on the clock. Our clock management has been excellent up to this point. Take it away, sir. Where are we going?
Let's keep it going. We're going to start on a Friday night. And let me just preface it by saying this. This season.
Wait, Friday night. Are we talking high school game? You got a high school
game?
No.
Listen, we got good college games on Friday. We got stuff we got to find. I got one for you here. But here's what I'm going to say. This season is starting to have 2007-ish vibes where there was just chaos. Remember 07? Just constant turmoil. Yeah. Anybody that got to number 2 in the polls automatically out. You were getting beat immediately.
You get the favorites.
2, out. Get out. That's what I feel like is happening this season. So best of luck to us. Best of luck to everybody listening that's trying to pick winners and against the spread. It's a weird year. Weird year. But here we go. We've got thoughts anyway. Let's dive in. All right, Friday night, Clemson, Syracuse.
Oh boy.
Have you mentioned Clemson since the first week of the season? They've kind of just disappeared on us here.
They not only disappeared, they're 0-5 against the spread. They're 3-2 straight up. They're 0-5 against the spread, the Clemson Tigers. Unbelievable.
And they get a Syracuse team that's 4-0 against the spread in its last 4. All right, let's dive into this game a little bit. Clemson, -14 on the road in the Dome. Always a weird, tricky place to play in the Carrier Dome. Here's the sneaky stat, though, that might surprise you. Did you realize Syracuse is 22nd nationally in total defense? They have the 4th most sacks in the FBS. Syracuse is playing defense. That's kind of their deal. We know Clemson's defense has been outstanding, and the story maybe of the college football season is how much this Clemson offense has just absolutely struggled. 112th nationally in scoring offense. So let's look at this. Can Syracuse keep it within 2 touchdowns? Does Clemson get right offensively? Do you like an under? I mean, that under's sitting in the mid-40s. Do you dare play an under with Clemson? How do you see this one?
It's a math problem for me, okay? If the line is 13.5 and a total is 45 or 44.5, which it is pretty much everywhere, it's dog and under for me. I side with the dog and under. Or, I mean, if you like the favorite, it's favorite and over. Now, in the book, this came up on Cash Considerations, the other show that I do with Newbie and Carl last week. The books don't allow you to – we didn't, at least at CG where I was for a long time. The total had to be 3 times the spread to be a parlayable thing. So this wouldn't be eligible at 14 and 45. So you couldn't even do it. But just math-wise, numbers-wise, this is like the Chiefs every week in the pros, right? You keep making them the favorite as the book, and they just keep getting bet because of their pedigree or their name or who's their quarterback, and they ain't covered the spread yet. I don't know. It feels too easy to me, but it's Syracuse.
Okay. Geez, we agree right out of the gate. And as a reminder, always check your books because, Dave, there are some out there that will allow the dog and the under. In fact, one that I have, I just tried on DraftKings where I am, and they were getting ready to take it, and I've done that before. So keep an eye on the book where you are. Excellent. They might let you do that. But I'm with you. I think you got to take Syracuse here until Clemson shows me it's figured something out. All right, with you on
There's
that.
a lot of orange in this game. There's gonna be, if you watch this game, there's gonna be a lot of orange on Friday night. We're gonna have to get some orange stuff to wear.
Well, listen to this. We didn't even talk about this, but we're going to continue the orange theme. I'm going to give you more orange.
Oh.
Ready for our next game? Here we go. Oklahoma State at Texas. So you're getting orange and burnt orange.
Burnt orange.
A little burnt orange here.
Talk about burnt, Howe. How does Texas feel coming into this game?
So here's the handicap. Here we're back to, I love the numbers. I love analytics. I love to give you those
Does it go
stats.
like this or does it go like this?
Well, the Big 12 said that's a penalty. If you do that, it's a penalty.
Like a flag? Like you get
yeah, now that was before Texas said they were going to the Big 12. So I would think now you can do whatever you want to Texas and it doesn't matter. But before, big thing. Can't do horns down, you get flagged, whole big issue. Don't get Big 12 people started on the horns down thing. So
I wonder why they want to go to the SEC. That ain't a penalty in the SEC, is it?
Oh, you don't think the SEC is going to do some horns down?
Oh,
you don't think they're going to bring horns down a couple times?
They're going to make. There's going to be merch lines. They're horns down. It's going to be merch. Horns down is going to be a thing for sure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're way off track. We're on horns down already. We haven't even started. All right. Speaking of horns down, though, you hit the key point there. What's Texas's collective mindset coming into this after the massive collapse to Oklahoma last week in the Red River rivalry? I mean, that was a game I still don't know how they lost that game, and we're going to get to Oklahoma coming up here in just a second. Texas clearly has found something offensively, though. Sark has come in. That's what he expected Steve Sarkisian to do, is get that offense going. You know what helps? Bijan Robinson helps running the football. We've talked about.
Is that the Heisman candidate now?
No, you can't. You don't give the Heisman to running backs anymore. That's very 1980s of you. You can't give it to a running back. No running backs win it. Maybe 1990.
Like that, dude.
Running backs don't get it.
That was our era. That was our era. I like running backs getting Heismans. They do the pose. I mean, it isn't a running back. Isn't the Heisman guy a running back?
It's not. Yeah, I don't know. It might be a running quarterback in today's day and age. You don't know that.
Fair enough. Okay, go ahead. Back to the game. Sorry.
Bijan Robinson, fourth in the nation running the football. Very, very good. But Oklahoma State's front seven has been very good. I know we think of Gundy and we think of offense, but the last couple of years, this Cowboy defense has been pretty good. In Texas's two losses, now flip to the other side. Texas's two losses, the team's been able to run the football on them. Arkansas and Oklahoma had success running.
Yes.
Can Oklahoma State
Oklahoma had success doing everything for the record in the second half.
Well, they did. That's true. That's a solid point. Their offense was clicking. Again, I'm going to come back to that here in just a second. The Cowboys allow just 91 yards a game on the ground. So you're getting strength on strength. Oklahoma State's been stopping the run. Texas wants to run it with Bijan Robinson. This is a big game for Oklahoma State. Texas with some sapped energy maybe coming off Oklahoma. 5.5-point number here. Do you like the Cowboys or are you going horns in a bounce back?
So it's almost a trick again, and we're coming up on Halloween here soon. So we're used to trick or treat kind of thing. In the next couple of weeks, you'll hear me say it. Texas coming off that loss, disaster. Oklahoma State's 5-0 straight up, 3-2 against the spread. They're getting 5.5 points. How is this possible? This is just one of those ones where you go, of course I'm going to take the points, right? I don't think so. So that's a misleading stat. I'll ask you this. Is it a misleading stat that Oklahoma State's rushing defense numbers are so good because they've been playing with a lead and teams haven't run the ball as much against them because they've been behind? Would that be a fair assessment, or am I speaking out of turn?
Maybe, but I've watched this Oklahoma State defense for a couple of years. They're legit. I mean, they can line up and play you. I'm impressed with the Cowboy defense now, but you're back to strength of schedule here. I mean, you're going to get a good Texas offense and the best running back they face. So keeping Texas under 100 is probably not realistic. But your balance is two things. If you get a flat Texas team that defensively can't stop the run and Jaylen Warren starts to go and run the football, you got Spencer Sanders who can run the football from the quarterback position. You could do some things here if you're Oklahoma State. If this is a flat spot for Texas, I think you got to look out for Oklahoma State here.
It's a good the debate. And for those of you new to the show or just listening to the show, like B. Howe and I trade a text. These are the games. And then you get to hear us debate this on the show. So listening to you talk, I have a feeling you like Oklahoma State. You're actually swaying me to Oklahoma State, because my thought was, well, I've seen this so many times. Texas is the side. It's just a matter. They're not only, I mean, Texas money line is a lock. They're winning this game. And I don't like to use locks and comments and things like that. But I like Texas in the game, just listening to this. I think the over is the best bet. After watching those two games, now you tell me Oklahoma State's defense is legit. I feel like I'm falling right into the trap. Oh, I'm going to play over because I just saw Texas and Oklahoma score 100 points, and then this game will go under 60. So I think we can make cases for both sides here.
You can.
I don't feel like I have a definitive side after just having that discussion.
41-34 was this score last year. So your point on the over, on the over makes some sense, because as good as Oklahoma State's been, and the hard part of the handicap here is if Sarkisian and Texas, and that makes a big difference offensively, if they get it going against, and this is Oklahoma State's biggest test so far, you could see some points. I'm with you. I would lean Oklahoma State, but I don't know that I feel definitively enough to put a play on this one.
Yep.
Okay, with me?
Yep.
Okay, now move on.
Burnt orange and whatever Oklahoma State's wants. Where are we going now?
Stay in the Big 12.
Oh.
TCU, Oklahoma.
Purple and red. I love it.
We've got all kinds of storylines here, most of them centered around Oklahoma. So, Oklahoma, real quick reset. Oklahoma was wobbly. They were getting ready to lose. They weren't the same Oklahoma team. What are they doing at quarterback? They're down big to Texas. Oh, my God, it's blowing up in Norman. We got whoa, hold on here. Here comes the freshman quarterback in for Spencer Rattler. Caleb Williams gets in, leads Oklahoma to a comeback win, down 21 points. They get a win. Now Caleb Williams, assuming, is the starter, but Lincoln Riley won't tell anybody he's the starter. The student newspaper from Oklahoma.
How is he not the starter? What is Lincoln holding back?
You got to be careful. I'm sure he is the starter, but you got to be careful because you don't need Spencer Rattler entering the portal right now, do you? Don't you need to keep both guys around and keep them here? Now, hold on. I'm not done with the drama. The Oklahoma student newspaper, hiding in a dorm, watching the practice, they report Caleb Williams taking snaps with the first team. So that story goes out there. Now Lincoln Riley pulls a Bill Belichick on you. He's mad. He shuts down all media availabilities for the rest of the week. No media coming out of Oklahoma. Boy. They got the nuclear codes or something going on the practice field in Oklahoma. We can't know who the quarterback is. Can't know who the quarterback is.
Top secret. That's fine. I guess you don't want TCU to know. Maybe. But if Williams is the quarterback, I would lay minus, I don't know, $5. And I'm not a big chalk laying guy. He better be the quarterback. But yeah, okay, Rattler, we want you to stay. But I mean, you can take a lesson right from what happened in Alabama. Jalen Hurts stayed. You know, when Tua got the job, things worked out. It's going to work out. They're 6-0, B-How. This is another ticket on the way to the BCS, is it not?
So here's the question. Is it, or is there, again, just so much stuff going on around Oklahoma other than X's and O's? Here's the case for them. They looked like they found something offensively last week, and I don't just mean because of the quarterback. No, I don't think it's that.
What do you mean?
It's offensive line. They have fixed something and changed back to an old scheme along the offensive line. They are blocking differently than they did earlier in the season. Really? I think they've got a better offensive line. That's always been the secret sauce. Baker was great. Kyler Murray was great. The receivers were great. It was the offensive lines that were historically great for years that allowed those skill guys to get to their highest level. Yep. Offensive line is critical to Oklahoma, and they looked better against Texas. They might have found something there. Can the quarterback help? Maybe, because Rattler was not throwing the deep ball like he had in previous years. But it wasn't like Caleb Williams was perfect. There were a couple botched snaps in there, and you're talking about a true freshman, albeit a very talented one, that's coming into the Power 5 level. So there's probably going to be some peaks and valleys with a true freshman quarterback. Now you get a TCU team that this is interesting, because if you don't follow TCU closely, this will be different for you. Their offense has been outstanding.
TCU is, what's their nickname?
Horned Frogs.
Is a horned frog a lot different than a regular frog?
Yeah, it's meaner.
Oh, it's meaner. All right, fair enough. All right, sorry, go ahead.
They've been running the ball extremely well, but what they're not doing is playing much defense, and that's usually Gary Patterson's calling card. This TCU team, it's not stopping people, but it's running it. Here's the matchup. It's running it really well. Against Texas Tech that has a bad rush defense. I don't even know if they know what rush defense is at Texas Tech. TCU ran it 47 times last week and only threw it 10. They just lined up and said, we're just going to jam it down your throat. We're going to run it at you. Oklahoma defensively is really good against the run. This is going to be a challenge for TCU to run it. You can throw the ball on Oklahoma, but TCU hasn't thrown it well. So strength on strength with maybe an Oklahoma team that has figured out what it's doing offensively. Are you willing to lay the double-digit spread with the Sooners?
Lay it. Yeah, lay it. I mean, no, and normally conference opponents, big numbers, dogs. I'm looking to take. Not this one. I think Oklahoma found it. They found me. I was watching that game going, I don't even know what is happening right now. I had my brother-in-law, Uncle Smokey here with the Coop and O, the little Consigliere nephews. We were watching football, and we were like, what? The little O was going, does anybody play defense? I'm like, not in this game. Nope. Well, I was very impressed with Oklahoma from what I saw. What's the total in this game? The total in this game is
mid-60s, 65?
65. I think maybe team total Oklahoma look to play that over. And this might be one of those first halves, believe it or not, might be a slower starting game. Looks like Oklahoma's pattern has been first half under, but cautiously throw everything, all that out the window with Williams being the quarterback, which we don't know on Wednesday as we record, but maybe we can ask the Oklahoma Student newspaper if they can find that out for us.
Yeah, well, they don't know either because no media opportunities the rest of the week. Thanks for that. That'll make a difference in that one. All right, go back to the SEC. Texas A&M at Missouri, or as some say, Missouri, as some say. A&M down to 8.5 here. This is, this is, again, we're going to handicap motivation.
Man.
A&M off in a textbook. Open the dictionary. Do they still use dictionaries? I guess you would log online and look up.
Yeah, it's dictionary.com. Like the kids get everything on the computer or the phone. So I don't know. Do you still have a dictionary somewhere? I think I have a dictionary. You don't?
No, you don't. No, you've moved a couple times. You don't have a dictionary.
You're right. She threw everything away. You're right.
Yeah,
I don't
it's out. You don't need to travel with the dictionary. Letdown spot. It's in the dictionary right here. Yes, I mean, a massive win. Yes. But here's the flip side. Missouri is 0 for its last 9 against the spread.
Oh, boy.
They're not good, and they're 0 for 9. And you know how I know that stat right off the top of my head, Dave? Full transparency on the 8 in the Box program.
How many times were you on them?
Well, just once, but it was painful. I tried to get cute last week. Took a bad Missouri team minus 19 against a worse North Texas team. Okay, yeah. A get-right spot for Missouri.
North Texas is what? What is their nickname? The North Texas what?
The Mean Green. The Mean Green. Alma mater and the former coach there, Hayden Fry, the legendary Iowa Hawkeye coach, was a North Texas alum.
Little known fact right there.
Fact. There you go. That's why
you were laying points against the Mean Green?
Yeah, 19. Went ahead, just laid 19 with Missouri. Wow. Now, here's the thing. They led the whole game. They led the whole game. I was cashing that thing the whole game. Counting my money. Here we go. Way to go, Missouri. I was smarter than everybody in the room. I figured it out. Here we go. Yep. 3 minutes to go. Mean Green. Punch it in. 0 for 9 on Missouri.
Lose by how much? What was the final? What'd they lose by?
Less than 19. Less than 19. That's all I care about.
Those ones hurt, don't they?
Those hurt. Well, it hurt because I didn't like the bet in the first place. I didn't like myself for taking Missouri minus 19. I already had some self-loathing going, and then I lost it. That's the double whammy, isn't it? I didn't like the bet. I still took the bet, and it lost.
And it was winning the whole time. That's the best part. For 57 and a half minutes, we're winning this thing. We got an early lead. We're just cruising along. You're checking the score like up. You want to see the ball on the Missouri name when you check the score on the app. You're like, all right, they still got the ball. We're good. Just don't turn it over. No pick six. No scoop and score. And then you check the score at the end. You're like, did that? What? No, there's no time left. That's it. Yeah, 16. All right. Well, so you're not bad. Is this personal?
I don't know. Now we're back, and I'm saying, do we take Missouri here? What are we doing? What am I doing? Talk me out of this. Can you trust a team that's 0-9 against the cover? But this really is a classic letdown spot. A&M's quarterback, Zach Calzada, was outstanding against Alabama. His best game.
His best game of his life. Like it was just wow. Because we've been punching that Alabama first half ticket for a year. I mean, basically a year. I think they covered how many in a row going back to last season, every game this season where they had a first half cash, punched in the mouth by Texas A&M. And now, in full transparency, Texas A&M was a go against before that game. Like they were laying points in games they shouldn't have been. They lost games that they were favored to win handily. They lost outright, to Arkansas. Just didn't play well. Barely beat Colorado on the road. Texas A&M at home versus Texas A&M on the road. How big of a difference drop-off, just in general, forget coming off the biggest game in program history since Johnny Manziel, but how big of a difference is that for you going to Missouri, which isn't really a big home field advantage?
It's not, but at A&M, such a massive home field advantage. When that's a big game and they're clicking at A&M, that's a tough place to play, obviously. All right, let me give you one, because I think the bulk of this handicap, if you like Missouri, is simply on the spot. You're playing this on numbers and on spot rather than a lot of X and O analytics, but I'll give you one. Calzada was excellent against pressure last week. 7 of 11 for 123 and 2 touchdowns under pressure. Okay, so he handled it well.
Okay.
Can he handle it 2 weeks in a row? Because Missouri's pass rush is top 30 via PFF in terms of grade. So Missouri may be able to get after the quarterback a little bit. Can he give you back-to-back really good performances under pressure in a big letdown spot? Do you just play the number here and say, show me, A&M, show me that you can overcome that big win? Do you look at a first half? Do you look at a first half 6.5 number? It's only 1 touchdown, though. 1 touchdown beats you, but 1 score might keep you in it. Any interest in any of that? Or are you staying away because you don't know?
Is it Missouri the show me state?
It is.
It is. And you always say show me here on the show.
That's
on
my thing.
Box, and I love it. And even on Game Within the Game that we do on Mondays, you do that as well. Wow. Automatic, this is a home dog play, right? Just for me historically, this is automatic. They're 0-6 against the spread. Like you said, they haven't covered yet this year. They've been laying points. And
0-9. I remember 0-9. Don't short them.
Go back last year. Last year, another 3. Right. And I'm going to come on right now and say take the dog. I'm not going to do it. It's a favorite or nothing for me. Like it's favorite or pass.
Who are you?
I laying points on the road is a complete wrong thing to do. It's square. It's this. It's that. How can you do it? The line should be 10. And it was 10 at Circa when it opened, the first number, and bad guys took it. They got it to 9. That scares me too. Maybe, if I have to play it, I still want to take Texas A&M. I still do. I'm trying to talk myself into the dog me, Howe. You coming back for a little more, Missouri? You are, aren't you?
How do you not? How
are you going to feel? We always talk about this. How do you feel after the game if you're holding the Missouri ticket, they don't cover, or you're holding the Texas A&M ticket and they don't cover? Which one is going to give you that, what am I doing with this? Seriously, I do a gambling show. I do gambling content. What am I doing?
I think I feel better, believe it or not, if I take Missouri and they don't cover.
Okay.
Because you know why? Because if I've built this up and I'm looking at a spot and I always say you've got to show me, and I don't take the show me spot of the week at the show me state with a team off the biggest win of the college football season, what am I doing? I've got to take Missouri. I'd rather have the 10, but I got to take Missouri. And then when they inevitably don't cover, I just go, well, of course they didn't. That's my fault for taking Missouri. And I know I inevitably know that's going to happen and I'm going to lose. So there we go.
Well, I don't think you're going to get 10 again. I think the market's kind of spoken. So I think if you want 10, you're going to have to buy to that point. So, all right, well, show me what the next game is, because we just spent enough time on Missouri. For an 0-6 team, there's no other show in the world maybe doing that. This is 8 in a box, baby. What do you got next?
Hey, find an edge where you can find an edge. I don't care if it's on TV, if it's the prime time. If we have an edge, we have an edge. I want to win. I want to win.
That's it.
Not talk about games that are popular. I want to win. All right, here we go. I think we might have both here. This is a fun one. Auburn at Arkansas.
Oh, boy.
This might be an Arkansas podcast. I feel like we've talked about them every single week. They've kind of been a nice
fun to
story.
talk about. They have been a very fun story. They're favored, by the way. They're favored. It's been a while since Arkansas been favored. Has it not?
So this one, I'm all over the place. So favored by 3.5-ish. Total is, you can tell me what the latest is. I'm in on this already on a total. I'll give you a spoiler alert early.
Ooh.
I got in at 52.5. I think it's moved up to 54,
53.5, 54 already. Look at you laying these early numbers, and they're usually going your way. I like it.
Well, we'll see. It doesn't mean we're going to win, but we'll see where we are on this. All right, I've got a lot to parse through in terms of numbers here. Auburn's run defense has been very good on paper.
Yes.
Okay? Now, both offenses are running it well, but Auburn's defense is top 5 nationally in opponent line yards. That's just – I won't give you all the details there. That's an offensive line stat that you look at that tells you how a team's running it. But Auburn doesn't have a ton of size up front. Arkansas does. Is Arkansas going to be able to move that Auburn defensive line and get some running through there? It might. It might. Auburn's pass defense hasn't been great, though. There's only 3 SEC teams that have given up more yards. So you've got Arkansas that wants to run it, but they're getting a defense that maybe you can throw it on. Can KJ Jefferson throw it against this Auburn defense?
Oh, man. Can Arkansas pass the ball at all? I mean, they scored 50-something points last week against Ole Miss, right? They lost, what did they lose, 52-51?
Yeah.
They went for 2 points at the end.
Would it put up points?
Auburn on the road. That's been the story, right? That's the issue. Nick's on the road, makes the mistakes, although they went to Penn State and almost won that game. Oh, man. Numbers right.
Now, hold on. You said something right there about Bo Nix on the road. They don't want him to make mistakes. Brian Harsin, the Auburn coach, said he wants to run it. Ole Miss ran it for 324 last week on Arkansas's defense. So did Auburn's 2 running backs, very good, averaging 7 yards a carry. Did they just take it out of Bo Nix's hands and run it and try and run for some yards here and have success?
They can run it, too. I mean, I saw the entire Penn State game, but I saw a little bit of their game last week as well. Georgia's defense is so good. They make people look bad. But I'm thinking you're onto something with the over. So when you like the over and you're kind of leaning me that way, I think Arkansas is the play. I mean, 5-1 against the spread, 4-2 straight up. They score points. And I think, I mean, obviously, we say this all the time, and you'll hear this. You don't have to go to any other gambling shows or just sports shows in general. Turnovers are going to decide the game. Give me the home team. Give me what I think is the better defense, dare I say, and give me Arkansas. Lay in the shorter number. It's 4. But it looks like it's trending up right now. And, it pretty much opened this number everywhere, which tells me that no one knows yet quite what to do. Give me Arkansas -4.
Okay. The over is hitting 6 of the last 7 between these two teams. Auburn goes with pace. They're 24th nationally in plays per minute.
Yep.
Part of my handicap, Arkansas, either if they can run it, they're going to score. If they have to throw it a little bit more, that might play into our over because we're going to get a little more stopped clock and we'll be able to get some more time there. Okay. So I'm going to go over. I got the 52.5. Let's see if we can get an over on this. I've already played it.
I like that. I like all of that. That sounded really good. That was a pretty good SEC breakdown right there.
That's a good. I'm looking forward to that game. That's a good one. Okay, another big SEC game. Kentucky and Georgia. Kentucky undefeated. Georgia now has assumed the mantle of best team nationally, number 1 in the country. Where are point? How are we getting points? How are we getting points? Total. You can give me the number. 44.5. It's probably ticked down by now. Did we miss the 44.5? But you said this one.
44.5 is what it is every single place. There's not one number that's different right now. It's amazing to me, again, how all the odds makers in the world all came to the same number. How does that happen every week? I love that. How are points going to be scored? They're probably not, B-How.
They're not. They're just
They're
not.
not, right? I mean, you tell me you look at the numbers, they're just not.
I don't have any number. I mean, I've got like 4 notes on this game because there's no numbers. 115th and 116th nationally in plays per minute. So you've got slow offenses, 2 good defenses. I don't know how this total is at 31.5.
Yeah.
You said this earlier, a 23.5 point spread with a 44.5 point total. I mean, what are you doing here?
That makes zero sense. There is nothing like, all right, I don't even know how you calculate the number, like the score. What is it? 24-20? That's 44. That would be 24 for Georgia. No, you're calculating this 38-7.
Yes,
that's the number. Okay.
Yes.
So you're saying that Kentucky's going to get 1 score.
Yes.
That's it. And most likely it's a backdoor or a late touchdown to prevent a shutout, not a field goal. Because once you get, like, the in-game wagering doesn't quite understand this, and I tell people this all the time on all the other shows that I'm on, like the Sports Grid and Sirius XM in-game live show. The algorithm is just doing time off the clock and current score. It doesn't take into fact like game script. That's a new term that I'm hearing, like with all this self-scouting going on. We talk about game script. Well, how many field goals is Kentucky going to kick? How many times is Kentucky going to cross the 50? That's what the numbers are saying, right? All these numbers, I don't remember seeing one of these. Sometimes when you see them, it's like with Alabama with directional state, and the spread is 45 and the total is 56.5, like something like that. 23 is the spread? That should be the total. It should be the total, right? Because I mean, I guess what is Kentucky's defense just not going to show? They're both 6-0. Like, I think the numbers kind of downplaying the fact that, obviously it's downplaying the fact that Kentucky's actually legit. I don't know if they are. Are they in your eyes, or is Georgia now the real number 1 team in the country and just has the defense that's not going to allow any points?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Team total 11.5 here for Kentucky. So you're right what you're saying on numbers. This to me is just simply, can Kentucky get you 2 scores? That's what you're looking for. This to me would be under or pass. I'm either playing the under or I'm not touching this thing.
Right.
Under or pass for me.
I like the team total under, to be honest.
Under the 11.5?
Yeah, because I think it should be 9.5 or 10. Just put it 10. And now what are you going to do? I dare you to bet under. If you're the book, go ahead. You want to bet under? You get 10. Now what? You want to bet over? Go ahead. Bet it. So under 11.5 team total Kentucky. That sounds good to me. As far as the side, man, this is tough. This is really, really hard. Man, I don't have a feel right now with it being Wednesday. Maybe I will by midday Saturday here. It's a 12:30 start, 3:30 Eastern. But I mean, what are you looking at a side? Well, you would lay it, right? I mean, this is a chalk. You would not. Yeah, you're not going to take the points with Kentucky on the road, are you?
I would just pass because this wouldn't stun me. If it's 31-10, that wouldn't stun me. Georgia gets a lead and then just has to run it out. They have a couple stops by Kentucky, 31-10. So no, I'm not. I wouldn't touch the side either way on this. Wouldn't feel comfortable. I have not played this, but I'm going to go under on this, or I'm just sitting it out.
Okay,
that's my only option here. Or team total. I'm with you. The team total. Can Kentucky get you 3 scores? Can they score a touchdown and get into field goal range twice and get to 13? That's what you're asking yourself, I think. Can that happen?
That's a good question. The other good question that I'm asking myself right now is when B-Hal don't want to lay a chalk, that probably means it's time to lay the chalk. Because when you hesitate like that, I'm going, why is he hesitating? Because this seems so obvious to me that the side is Georgia, which, again, you're ringing those bells off in my head. Good discussion. I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, go to the next one. Pac-12. I'm going to give you a little Pac-12 action here.
Pac-12 action.
Arizona State against the Utah Utes.
What?
Now, here's what's interesting. The Utes have rallied here a little bit. They were a trendy
Did you say
pick.
Utes?
Yeah.
Two
you know what a Ute is?
Little My Cousin Vinny. I love that.
Great movie.
We use that one all the time. In the book, we used to say that when someone come up to the counter and said, I want the Utes. Did you say Utes? Did you say 2 Utes? Yeah, give me the game number, buddy. Go ahead. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
The Utes +1 here. They've rallied. They were a trendy pick to win the Pac-12 potentially. Struggled out of the gate. Charlie Brewer, the transfer quarterback from Baylor, has left. Cam Rising has emerged as a star here.
What a name.
For Utah. That's a great name. He has risen. Cam Rising has risen. He was excellent. Listen to this line. 22 of 38, 308, and 3 touchdowns against USC in a win. We know Utah plays defense.
Wow.
Tell me about Arizona State here, though. You liked them against BYU a couple weeks ago. Herm Edwards might have the most talented team in the Pac-12. You laying the 1 or taking the 1? Arizona State, Utah.
Man, for some reason, I don't have this game down in my rundown notes. So you're really hitting me with one that I don't know.
Did I jump us one? Did I jump one off the board here?
You did. It's not on my rundown. I'm looking right now. I can't even find the line. Where's the game? When are they playing the game? What time does it start? What is the game number? Where is it? They're 7 o'clock. Okay. So listen. All right. Now I got it. All right. Here it is. Game number 1.
Go fast then, because I got another one I got to squeeze in. Go fast.
161, 162. The game's pick 'em. Perfect line. All right. I think the bet is Utah at home, right? What did they do? They just went to USC and kind of said, we're winning this game. All right. So 161, 162, I got Arizona State's 5-1, 3-3 against the spread. Utah's 3-2, but they're only 1-4 against the spread. What? Utah or nothing. We're winning this game at night in Utah. It's, by the way, here in Vegas, it was 42 degrees this morning. It was 38 yesterday. It's getting cold. Them kids down in Arizona are going up to Utah. Not this weekend. Utah. Easy winner.
I'm with you there. Good job. We went off script. Had to audible at the line of scrimmage. Went off script. All right, here's one for you. We're going to slug it out. Our final game before we get to the highest total of the week. Back to the Big Ten. Purdue and Iowa. Purdue and Iowa. All right, so we got to get Iowa in here. They've been the story of the college football season. Their defense
2 team in the country. What?
It's defense, Dave. This defense, they just take it away from you. They just walk in, bully you, take your ball, and move on. Like 21 turnovers so far this season.
God.
All right.
Can you handicap that? Like that team is getting turnovers. Is that you at this point now? They're playing to get turnovers. It doesn't just happen.
No, that's what they do. A lot of people claim turnovers are based a lot around luck. I think with Iowa's team, that's they've gone past the luck state. That's just what this team does.
Definitely.
But you do always have to worry about regression with that. I mean, they're getting an inordinate amount of turnovers right now. So you got to look at that. All right, let's play into this because we always know with Iowa, even before you talk sides, you got to look at the total. Another low one, it's 43.
Man.
But here's what's interesting. This may surprise you. Purdue hasn't played an over yet this season.
What?
Their defense is 16th nationally in pass defense. Now, Iowa doesn't want to pass it. They want to run it.
Oh, boy.
Here's a key for Iowa's defense, though. Cornerback Riley Moss might be out this week. Potential injury to Moss. He's been outstanding. He's been one of those big turnover guys. So they may be without one of their key cogs. What are you doing here? Under 43. You're still taking the under 43?
43 and 41 is the key number because of so many different combinations. 43 is right there close by it. We saw it at the Penn State game, finished 23-20, right? That's a very common score or number around there, 43, 41, right in that neighborhood. I think the game goes under. So when I think under, I want to side with the dog. But how is Purdue going to score? I've seen it now week after week after week after week. That place got super duper loud. Number 70, I was watching it with the kids, and little nephew O said, why don't they just take 70 out because he keeps jumping? I'm like, he can't hear, O. Somebody screams, people are screaming at him right on top of the field. He kept getting them penalties. I think the magical season in Iowa continues. I'm too scared of the number, though. I think the number's right. Anything over 10 with this Iowa team gives you that squirrely feeling in your stomach. This doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel right. I don't want to lay it. Total's only 43. How are we laying double digits in a total game? 43. Can't do it. Under, and maybe Purdue team total under. Not really looking for them to score points, so I don't want to take them plus the points in a game.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. The only thing would be that's such a big letdown spot again for Iowa off that giant win.
Easy, yep.
At Penn State. So you might get a flat Iowa, not as good defensively maybe without Moss. They're going to let off the gas. Kirk Ferentz doesn't run it up. If they get the lead, they'll just hold it. So I wouldn't hate you if you went Purdue, if you could get to 11.5 or if that climbs to 12 or so. I wouldn't hate the Purdue play necessarily, but I probably won't touch that one. Yep,
that's a tough one to touch. And again, be one of those, you hear it all week. It's a letdown spot. It's a letdown spot. It's a letdown spot. Everybody thinks it's a letdown spot except the Iowa defense, who pitches a shutout or keeps Purdue to 7. All they got to do is get 24, 24-7 final. Purdue wins, Iowa wins and covers.
Yeah, agree. And that could easily happen. And you're at home, so the letdown maybe not as much in play. All right, time, favorite part of the week. This is turning into my favorite part of the week. The highest total on the board. You ready?
Wait. Now I'm ready for the highest total of the week, which doesn't this thing go under every single week?
Well, before I give it to you, let's recap. Last week, we went Coastal and Arkansas State, and it was maybe one of the weirdest middles ever. We did a non-traditional middle. Yes. We said you got to go under because the trend is under with these, but we liked Coastal's over.
Team total.
Team total over. I was about 4.5 minutes in when I thought we have made a terrible mistake here. We're going to win the team total over, and we might double it up, but there is no chance this thing stays under. My man Butch Jones at Arkansas State, they've got some defensive work to do.
Yeah.
They have got some defensive work to do.
Yes.
In the miracle of all miracles, team total sails over, game total comes in 72. We're saved by the hook. It was 72.5. Saved by the hook. So,
in a rare, do you understand how hard that middle is? Usually want to have a big middle where we go over something and under something, and we got a little more wiggle room. We left ourselves no wiggle room, yet we hit it right in the hole. That was one of our best handicaps together ever. I was so excited. I'm watching the score. I'm like, wait a second, we could actually do this. Like, they're over the total. This is good. Wait, don't score no more. They don't. It falls right in the middle. 72. Good number. What do you got this week? Which game?
Well, here's what we got this week. And you're right. This thing has gone under. I think 5 of our 6 weeks, this has gone under. 6 of the 7. I've lost track at this point. And this is a big one. All right, this is a big number. Ole Miss and Tennessee.
Oh, boy.
This thing opened at circa at 85.5.
What the hell?
It's come down a little bit, down in that 81 range. So here's what you got. Ole Miss scores. They want to score. You got Lane Train going back to Knoxville. If he can throw up 312 points in this one, he's going to, right? Against the Tennessee fans at home. He's already taken shots. He wants to score. Tennessee with Josh Heupel, they're going to go fast. Right? They're going to be hyper speed, even if they shouldn't be. They're going to go fast. They've been putting up some points. These teams are 3 and 4 nationally, number 3 and number 4 nationally in plays per minute. So you're getting fast. You're getting teams that have produced offensively. You're getting teams that I don't know how interested are in playing defense. This one, the number's massive. The trends tell us under. The game script, as we're talking about this, do you want to be on an under with these two teams? How do you play this one? Ole Miss has given up 93 points in the last 2 weeks. Now, it was to Alabama and Arkansas, but the narrative of the Ole Miss defense is better. That's gone away for the last 2 weeks. 93 they've given up.
Yeah. No, you can't give up 93. No, I can't. I can't do it. There's just certain things. It's like, again, and I always use this when I'm on the shows and talk about, Sharapan, what do you make the number? 100. What? What did you say? 100. How's that? How's that number? It was okay in Oklahoma, Texas, 103, 55-48. It was okay in Ole Miss and Arkansas last week, 100, 103, 52-51. That comes to 103. I will be very surprised, Howe, very, very surprised if another 100 triple-digit C note. That is a big 1-0-0 if 100 points aren't scored in this game. Who's stopping who? Ain't nobody stopping nobody. All right? This would be a great matchup color-wise, uniform-wise. If we could get Ole Miss, they're not going to wear them baby blues, but, man, that would be pretty sweet. Baby blue, orange, the Volunteers. They're going to volunteer to give up a lot of points. I'm telling you, we've been all over unders with this game total of the week. Newbie brings it in. At Newbie Talks with that sound like we're coming to the track. We're loading up the gate. Settle in. We're going to ride this thing to 100 points. Over.
You're taking the over. You're going to do it.
I'm not taking the under. Wait a second. We're getting ready to wrap the show. You're going to bury the lead. Are you taking under in this game?
I was looking at it.
Why? Tell me. Can't
the
do
under's hit. The under's hit. You only need a couple stops.
All right.
You only need a couple stops.
How many punts are we going to get in this game? Let's make a new total. How many punts in Ole Miss, Tennessee? 2 each? 4. You betting over or under? Punts.
Over.
You're betting over 4.
What time's this game?
Mississippi, Tennessee is a night game in Knoxville. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Ole Miss, Tennessee. There's your punt number, 4. You're going over?
Over. Be contrarian.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Contrarian, using big words.
Over.
Look, Newbie's laughing. He's even laughing. I hope you people are laughing and listening to the show. What do you got?
Do this. All right,
what?
Do this.
Yeah.
How would you play this in-game? Do you play it under and play the over in-game, or do you play the over and look to play under in-game?
Okay, that's a great question. I would actually, at this absurd number, the first bet I would make is under, and I would watch. And then when it's 21-21 halfway through the second quarter, and I'm going, well, now I can go under 100 because I'm way ahead of pace. My first bet would be under. You're right. So now that was a good question. Now you got me thinking.
So you go under to start, and then if they come out and they're blistering it, and that thing gets to 100, 105 live line, then I keep hitting it up, right? That's the approach.
Yeah. Yes. You could take the other approach, though. You think it's going to get to that number and take over 85 to then take under 103.5 and have the middle. You don't kind of, screw yourself at the beginning. But yes, the first thought, because the number's so high, is to bet under. But not this one. I bet over. Hell no. This is going to be a race. The sound got me excited. I told you we're getting in the gate for the people that are watching the show. I'm literally riding like a jockey. I think we're going to see at some point a high 90s number in game. Over. Take it away. That's it. That's the show. 8 in the box, where we talk college football, sides, totals, highest total of the week. For my guy, Brad Howe, again, thank you for joining me. He's at Brad Howe07 on Twitter. The producer of the show, Dan Alexander /Newbert. We call him Newbie. He's at Newbie Talks on Twitter. And for myself, Dave Sharapan, I am the Sportsbook Consigliere at SportsBK Consig. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the college football, especially that Ole Miss Tennessee game Saturday night down in Knoxville. Talk to you guys next week.